All right, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David. All right, just gonna get into a quick, couple of thoughts. Not gonna really go into the movie itself, but there's just one particular, scene or a couple scenes here that I'm just gonna bring out to you know just point out a couple of pointers here. And this first one here, as a matter of fact, let me bring it up before we play the scene. All right, it's gonna be this. All right, so a little girl in the movie, she mentions this West Wing, all right, series that she's watching. All right, so I want to read this for you because this is what this is about. It says, cutthroat presidential advisors get their personal lives hopelessly tangled up with professional duties as they try to conduct the business of running a country. And remember, this little girl was obsessed with this TV series, and she mentioned it a couple of times, all right, up until the end. And it says they get tangled up with professional duties as they try to conduct the business of running a country. It says fictional Democratic President Josiah Jed Bartlett suffers no fools, and that policy alienates many. He and his dedicated staffers struggle to balance the needs of the country with the political realities of Washington, D.C., working through two presidential terms that include countless scandals, threats, and political scuffles, as well as the race to succeed Bartlett as the leader of the free world. And that sounds just like what's going on right now with Biden as well as Trump. You got all this, Trump, they had the thing about them raiding Trump's home or whatever and finding the documents and whatever information he said that it was a fake or whatever. And then you got Biden, all right, everybody knows he's a liar. Then you got the stuff going on with his son and all this other stuff, his daughter, all right, the diary, about him and his daughter taking a shower and all this, it's all this crazy, but it's no different from what's going on right now in real life, all right, between Biden and Trump fighting for that presidency, all right. And it says the cutthroat presidential advisors get their personal lives hopelessly tangled up with professional duties as they try to conduct the business of running a country. And this is what this little girl was so obsessed about. All right. And so I wanted to bring this out because it just it kind of made sense, because anything could be random, but this ain't one of these movies where things are random. OK, and so there's so many little tidbits here, but I'm going to play through the rest of the scene because we're going to talk about something else in a second.
This one West Wing episode, there's this story someone tells the president.
You watched The West Wing?
Only the Aaron Sorkin seasons. Anyway, the story was about a man who lived by the river. And he hears on the radio that the river's going to flood the town and everyone should leave. But the man doesn't go anywhere because he prays every day, knows that God loves him and will save him. But then the flood actually happens. And this guy in a rowboat sees the man and says, "Hey, come on, I can save you." But the man tells him he isn't going anywhere. Then a helicopter comes flying by, and the pilot lowers a ladder. But the man tells him he isn't going anywhere. After that, the man drowns in the flood. And so he goes up to heaven, and he's really angry at God, and he tells him, "I prayed to you every day. I thought you loved me. Why didn't you save me?" And God says, "I sent you a radio report, a rowboat, and a helicopter. What more do you want?"
All right, so Rose was telling this story here. She said that someone was saying to someone in this TV series West Wing, all right, okay, and it was told in the same fashion, but it was told kind of differently. But this is where it comes from, all right. The story that she said that this person was talking about in the West Wing TV series, it comes from this. It's called The Drowning Man, all right. We're going to read it. It says a fellow was stuck on his rooftop in a flood. He was praying to God for help. Soon a man in a rowboat came by, and the fellow shouted to the man on the roof, "Jump in, I can save you." The stranded fellow shouted back, "No, it's okay. I'm praying to God and he is going to save me." So the rowboat went on. Then a motorboat came by. The fellow in the motorboat shouted, "Jump in, I can save you." To this, the stranded man said, "No thanks. I'm praying to God and he is going to save me. I have faith." So the motorboat went on. Then the helicopter came by and the pilot shouted down, "Grab this rope and I will lift you to safety." To this, the stranded man again replied, "No thanks. I'm praying to God and he is going to save me. I have faith." So the helicopter reluctantly flew away. Soon the water rose above the rooftop and the man drowned. He went to heaven. He finally got his chance to discuss this whole situation with God, at which point he exclaimed, "I had faith in you, but you didn't save me. You let me drown. I don't understand why." To this, God replied, "I sent you a rowboat and a motorboat and a helicopter. What more did you expect?" And this right here, to me, and I'm just speaking as a man, okay, with all these different thoughts, all right? That's why I put the title, just my thoughts, okay? Doesn't make me right or whatever. But this right here was a major, major mockery of the hopeful elect remnant, all right? Because they know we have faith, all right? They know we pray to the Lord in his true name, okay? Through Yahushua. They know this, okay? And this right here is like a mockery, because that's why we read what we read, Isaiah 59:19. They're going to come in like a flood. Revelation 12:12, they're going to come down with great wrath, because they're coming after those who know this truth. They're coming after us first, because we are the biggest threat, especially the teachers, the men who are teachers. We are their most major threat, which in the spiritual war, okay? And so this is a major mockery, saying that you can pray to the Lord all you want. We're coming to get you one way or another. All right. It's a major mockery, because it's not ironic that they just put this in the movie. This TV series, West Wing. All right. Which we just read what it was about. And then that whole pretty much that little short story that she told, which is pretty much this right here. All right. But don't we say we put our trust in the Lord? All right. And they mock us for that. OK, but we do have trust in the Lord. We have faith in what's written in the scriptures. All right. If faith in nothing else in this world, we got faith in the scriptures. That's for sure. And you don't think the elite know that? Because they know it. All right. And they make mockery of us. And this movie was the biggest mockery of all. This is the biggest, the biggest. We know what you know. Whatever, however you want to say it, all right? This is the biggest in your face movie they've done, all right, in a long while, okay, or if at all. But they know they said that they will be wiser than Daniel, right? All right. There's nothing that's going to be hid from these individuals, because they have the time and the resources necessary to dig up and do the research and understand certain things on the left-hand side. You see? So they understand exactly what we understand. To some extent, they understand it better than some of the Israelites, right? Just waking up to the truth or whatever. They understand it better than some of the Israelites themselves. But the point remains that they're throwing a lot of things in our face in this movie. All right. It's like we're about to pull our final trump card. All right. Because their back is against the wall. They don't have any more choices, other than to continue, stretching things out, which is not up to them. I'm just speaking, in a general sense, because everything is up to Yahweh Shai, whether it be on the right hand side or the left hand side. I'm just speaking, in real time sense. All right. Only thing they can do is keep stretching things out, but if the time is too short, they can't just keep stretching things out forever. All right. That's why they put the whole 2030 agenda, to throw you off. A lot of the things that's been put out there or discovered, they already had ready and rolled out and ready to go, okay? Different technology and devices and things of that nature. These things are ready to go. They just give you a certain date just to keep you, sitting, just sitting back, too comfortable, okay? Not realizing that they're already ready. They're already up on game, all right? Now, because I believe there was something else that she said at the end. We're gonna get it real quick. Let's play the rest of this clips that she's just said herself.
What's this about, Rose? I think I'm done waiting.
Right, so now at the end of that scene, she said, "I think I'm done waiting." After she told that little short story there, she said, "I think I'm done waiting," and that can apply both to the hopeful elect remnant as well as these devils themselves. All right, because they have no choice, as we just spoke. They have no choice but to push whatever they're about to do, whatever crisis that they have cooked up. All right, ready to spill that pot. Okay. They got to do it, man, because their time is very short. They can't keep waiting and holding this thing out. They got to do what they got to do, okay? And that's pretty much straightforward. But on the other side, all right, especially also going right back to the little short story again, all right, those of us that are of the household of faith, we hold to our faith. And there are going to be those of us, there's going to be individuals who lose faith, lose patience. Okay, especially given the turmoil that's going to go on out here, is because they were never truly rooted in what they believed. All right, so we have Matthew chapter 24, the verse 45. It says, "Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing." And yeah, we're going to do this work till we can do it no more. All right. Because there's a cutoff point. There's a famine of the word. There's a moment, a time period where we're not going to be able to be out on the streets. But until the Lord deems that necessary, we're going to do what we have to do. All right, and preach this gospel. All right, it shall be preached into the four ends of the earth. All right, for a witness, and then shall the end come. And through the teaching and preaching of this gospel, the end is being manifest. It says, "Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, My Lord delayed his coming," right? You woe to those that lost patience, right? "And shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken." And the scriptures tell us, I believe it's Luke 17, right? As in the days of Noah were. They were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage, right? They were going about with the follies of the world. Okay, it says, "And shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him." Talking about Yahushua, he's going to pop up out of nowhere, man. He's going to return, all right, in the midst of everything. "The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth," because you lost patience. You didn't truly believe what was written in the scriptures. You didn't believe that the prophecies were going to be fulfilled. You want to believe in certain things, all right? You believe that you're an Israelite, but you don't believe in the rest of everything else. How does that work? All right? You lost patience. You went back to the world, all right? No man putting his hands to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom, all right? So that's to me, like I said, this is just my thoughts, right? Very two-sided though, all right? Because they can't wait any longer. They need the right, like we say all the time, especially Elder Apostle Gabar. He says it as well, okay? They need the right crisis or crises, okay, to roll out their agendas, okay? And then never let a good one go to waste. But then on the opposite side of that coin, you have to understand there's going to be those of us who ultimately are not going to stand through that furnace of affliction, and they're going to lose patience. They're going to go back into the world, or they're going to end up being traitors, all right, of the faith, okay, or whatever the case may be. But these things must needs be; they must happen, okay. And we who do have faith and patience, all right, patience, okay. It's a long a road to travel right through that straight gate, but we have patience, all right. And the scriptures say, to those that wait for him, all right, the Lord has things prepared, okay. And so that's what we have. We're prisoners of hope. We have faith, and we have our patience, all right. What's the scripture? In your patience possess ye your souls. You see. And so that's what we have to have. We have to have that faith and that patience that the Lord has everything under control, because he does. All right. We truly believe this, regardless of how terrible it gets. We truly believe this. All right. Now, there's a lot going on in this bunker scene here. So, And the first thing is one of the most important things right here. I'm going to see if I can flash it. All right, so it happened so fast. All right, but I want to show you this, okay? Because this is a very important. And it's hard to catch it. All right, so you see this. This is called communist survival shelters. All right, and I'm gonna show you. Let me pause real quick so I can show you why this is so important. All right, now I want you to really pay attention to this because this ain't just some coinky dink. All right, this is Commodus. All right, it says born August 31st, 161 CE. All right, and I saw this on the wall. I said, let me look this up. Okay, Commodus. What is Commodus? All right, and it took me here. Okay. Not saying this exact article. I mean, I had to look it up or whatever, right? So it says he died December 31st, 192. Ironically, December 31st, which is what the Esau's New Year, right? Or New Year's Eve. I'm not saying that's important, but just pointing that out. It says Roman emperor from 177 to 192, sole emperor after 180. His brutal misrule precipitated civil strife. His brutal rule precipitated civil strife that ended 84 years of stability and prosperity within the empire, which pretty much would be the height of the Roman Empire, right? Whatever. So, all right, it says, in full, Caesar Marcus Aurelius Commodus Antoninus Augustus, all right? Original name Lucius alias Aurelius Commodus, all right? Born August 31st, 161 CE, Lanovium Latium, now Lanovio, Italy. Died December 31st, 192, age 31. All right. So this is why this is so important. So let's start this in because on the wall it says communist survival shelters, and they flashed it so quick. Okay. It says in 177, Lucius was made co-ruler and heir to his father, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, reigned 161 to 180. Lucius joined Marcus in his campaign against invading German tribes along the Danube. But after the death of Marcus, March 180, he quickly came to terms with the Germans. Soon after he became sole ruler, Lucius changed his name to Marcus Aurelius Commodus Antoninus. In 182, Commodus' sister Lucilla conspired with a group of senators to assassinate him. The plot failed, and Commodus retaliated by executing a number of leading senators. Thereafter, his rule became increasingly arbitrary and vicious. In 186, he had his chief minister executed in order to appease the army. 3 years later, he allowed the minister's successor to be killed by a rioting crowd. Political influence then passed to the emperor's mistress and to advisors. Meanwhile, Commodus was lapsing into insanity. He gave Rome a new name, Colonia Commodiana, colony of Commodus, and imagined that he was the god Hercules entering the arena to fight as a gladiator or to kill lions with bow and arrow. On December 31st, 192, his advisors had him strangled by a champion wrestler. Following his announcement the day before that he would assume the consulship dressed as a gladiator, a grateful sinner proclaimed a new emperor, the city prefect, Publius Helvius Pertinax. But the empire quickly slipped into civil war, right? It says, I want to read some more. Let me see here. Yeah, we pretty much got what we needed. But you see, his rulership, I believe this is, if I'm correct, this is what after him came the five good emperors, if I'm correct with that particular history. But the point being, all right, Commodus, all right, he pretty much had that, that downfall of those, those good years, or not good years. For them, it was good years, all right, the height of the Roman Empire. And after him, it was just, it was civil war, civil strife. So it's not ironic that they had Commodus survival shelters on the wall to that bunker, which, by the way, that bunker was in someone's house, right? These big old mini mansion or big mansions, actually, and castles or whatever they live in. Hey, they're telling you we got bunkers here, or maybe somewhere else, but more than likely they got bunkers right beneath their houses, because castles had different corridors and things of that nature. They've taken over these castles for a long time and probably renovated them, opened some of those secret passages back up, and whatever the case may be. It's possible, right? But it's not ironic that they had communist survival shelters to these bunkers, okay? And if you notice, because when the scene started, the little girl was in the house eating all this kind of junk food, this, that, and the third, and then she was walking down this hallway, all right, with a bunch of red lights down the hallway. Then she gets here to this button, like a little oven door button, and a red light flashes, all right? And this is just my thoughts, not saying I'm right or whatever, but I don't believe at the end that had anything to do with the hopeful elect. This is all saying, this is what E is saying, that why everything is going away, because really it's two-sided, because it could be at the nuclear missiles falling on this earth, because the scriptures talk about how they're going to run into their bunkers. And so in their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. So the nuclear missiles are going to fall. They're going to run into their bunkers. They think they're going to come back out and rebuild society. And you can see it within the scene as we play some more. But also on a lesser level, with whatever that they got planning, they're really saying that we're going to be sitting and laughing at all of you people while all this chaos is going on in this earth. We're going to be sitting back in our bunkers watching from a TV screen what's going on in this earth. And then we're going to come out with our solution. So this is in my opinion, is very two-sided. All right. With whatever plan they're going to pull out next, they're going to allow whatever to happen. Then they're going to try to roll out the microchip as the answer. But then also in the very end, on the other end of that spectrum, this is what they're going to be doing. They're going to be watching the nuclear fallout. All right. Or I mean, I guess you could say, they're going to be waiting, okay, in their bunker for the nuclear fallout and think they're going to come back out. But they're going to get fished out of those bunkers. They're going to get fished out of wherever they're hiding and thrown into captivity. All right. So I thought it was a real crazy, that they had this on the wall. So let me look this up, because I saw it a couple of times in the flash. I'm like, wait, let me see what these words on the wall say. It says communists. All right. Well, so what's communists? I thought it was just going to take me to some, people who build shelters or whatever, but it took me actually to this. So these things are not ironic that they put in these movies. All right. Communist survival shelters on the wall. And this is what, and Commodus was a Roman emperor, all right, and end up, forwarding a lot of chaos in the Roman Empire after his reign. He tried to get his sister tried to assassinate him. He started, it was a lot going on dealing with this guy, all right. So let's see if we can pull this movie back up, all right. Let me see here. Give it a second. All right, so. Now, I tried to look up this painting on the wall, but I couldn't find anything about it, because things are not in movies, like this for nothing. But I couldn't find anything on it, but so it's okay. But I'm gonna show trying to. All right, so they got water stored up, all right, food, all kinds of different items and things of that nature, because and we recently talked about this, talking about they have these fallout shelters with up to 10 years. They're able to store up to 10 years worth of food and no less than 3 years. All right. So the minimum amount that they can store is up to 3 years of food, and the maximum amount being 10 years. But they're not going to be sitting in these bunkers that long. All right. That's what they think. OK. Now, the coolest thing that I saw was this this kitchen window, because it's not a real window. It's a digital window, and you watch it come on. OK. And this is just another play on how they're just going to be living life normal. They're not going to be thinking about the outside world, okay? But this is what we just mentioned. We're going to show how some of these things fall right in line, all right? Because they're not going to be thinking about the outside world. They're going to be going in here, I guess maybe washing some dishes. And how a woman to look out the kitchen window, they show, especially a lot in those movies, where she'll just be looking out the kitchen window or whatever. Well, their kitchen window is fake. It's a digital kitchen window, but notice they don't have any of the outside world. They just have this beautiful picture of nature just sitting in this digital kitchen window, so they won't have to think about the outside world, okay, unless they want to see what's going on up above. All right, now check this out here. They have, it looks like what is probably herbs, okay, because I already got a strike on my main page. So I'm gonna stay like this, all right. They send you to their buildings and give you whatever that they give you, all right, which is a business. But yet it shows you once again that they understand these things that are going on in the Bible, because it could possibly be food, but I really doubt that it's growing food, because you would need more space to grow food. Me personally, I think that these are different herbs, all right, and very important herbs that they probably have that they're growing and they're going to use, all right. Though they try to steer you away from herbs. Okay, so let's move on. All right, they show you bedrooms. This is basically a bunk bed. All right, not saying that theirs is a bunk bed, but they're showing you that, hey, we have places to sleep. All right, this isn't just a hole in a rock. All right, which they're comfortable there because they're used to being in the holes in the rocks. That's where they live. So these bunkers are nothing to them. They don't mind holes in rocks. This is just a more comfortable hole in a rock. All right, you know the average American, actually all Americans, you need exercise every day. All right, the Lord made us as moving creatures. All right, the human body needs exercise, and they understand this. They're not going to be going out and walking around amongst the chaos, or they're not going to come out the shelter when nuclear missiles are falling, right? But they do understand that they need their exercise, all right, for their bodily health, which ain't going to profit them none. But you see, you notice they understand this. Else there would never be exercise machines down here. And they're showing you this. All right. We're not going to be able to go and walk through Central Park and read a damn newspaper anymore, or whatever the case may be. All right. We're not going to be able to go out and jog or whatever. But we're going to still need our bodily exercise. And they're showing you this right here. We have this equipment to make sure our bodies stay in shape. Because once again, remember, it says in the scriptures that it's in their inward thoughts that the houses shall continue forever. They think that they're going to run into these holes, all right, and then come out, at the very end to rebuild society once again after their fashion. You see, like it's going to be a third revival of the Roman Empire, and it's not going to be so. So they're going to try to keep their bodies up to health and shape until that moment comes. And you see they have the herbs over there and then the exercise. You see? Let's continue. All right. Now, I'm going to say, because none of this is really important. It's just going to show you what we just talked about, the storing of food. All right. But it was very fun. I don't know if I can zoom in. Oh, I can. All right, cool. It was very funny to me because one thing I noticed, they have some Aunt Jemima syrup on the wall. And right on the other side next to that span, what did they have? They got some Uncle Ben. And, these were Israelites, all right? So if you understand that particular history, all right, you understand why I'm even mentioning it in the first place, all right? Everything else was pretty much normal, all right? They got tons of sugar. Sugar's not good for you, but they got the sugar, right? So not everything in here is healthy. But once again, these are Edomites. Now, a brother pulled this out dealing with the girl that was in the movie, all right? The J girl, okay? Who he said, I think it was a tattoo on her arm where it had 69 on it, okay? And I think he was, going to something about, an angel number dealing with that, all right? So you see, there's that 69 again on this screen, all right? And you also have 7 over there, but, and this is far-fetched. I'm just, just saying this in the middle. You see the 999, flip it, this is 666. But speaking on, this 6-9 right here, and I'm gonna show you in a second also why I'm bringing this out, all right, because dealing with the left hand side, all right, dealing with Esau on the left hand side. Actually, it's not gonna zoom in. But anyways, dealing with Esau on the left hand side, okay. They like to deal with, the constellations, the zodiacs, and things of that nature, right? So that 6-9 will be the sign of the Cancer, right? You'll usually see it, sideways, all right? That's 69, okay? And it's supposed to be like the claws of the crab, okay? And I think if I'm correct, because dealing with that, they'll say that it also connects to the numbers of 444. Now we know on the right hand side 4 is mercy, and 444, that's just a complete number of mercy, right? So on the left hand side, dealing with the zodiac and all of that kind of stuff like that, and and how it supposedly lines up with the 444. This is basically saying that what we mentioned earlier, they're going to come down with great wrath and with all their crises or whatever, and they're not going to have any mercy, because you got to understand there's also a right hand side to things as well as a left hand side to things, because the Lord always has a balance. All right, and like I said, these are just thoughts, okay, just thoughts to bring to mind. All right. But it's almost like they're saying that we're going to come down with that great wrath and we're not going to have any mercy. All right. So let me move on here. Give me a second. Here we go. Now, another thing I want to point out, because this is also far-fetched. Like I said, just thoughts. All right. So we have these numbers up here. Okay. Now, if you look from right to left, all right, there's a 5. Forget the zeros, because the zeros don't equal any numerical value. All right. 5 plus 1 would be 6. And then you have that 4 plus 2 would equal 6. And then if you have 7 minus 1, it equals 6. All right. And then you have that 9 going right back to that 6.9 or 6.9 that we just, and that's, like I said, it's reach is very far-fetched, but just pointing out. But then you have 666, and then you have that 9, that's 6.9. But also look down here, because what else do you see? You have 6.9, 6.9, 6.9, 6.9, 6.9. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I think I counted it right. 1, yeah, because you got 7 at the end, right? Of all numbers, right? It's completely just 7, 0, and a bunch of zeros. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's 6, 6, 6, 9. So right, going right back to what we just mentioned, that Cancer sign 6.9 lining up on the left hand side with the 444, all right, which is mercy. But on their end, these devils have no mercy, man. So like I said, it's very far fetched, and it's a real big reach, but just something that I wanted to point out. Maybe someone has some other thoughts on it. Okay, it'll bring something to someone's mind, maybe. All right, but you see, it's all 6.9 up here, 6.9 down the board, and then you got 7 over there at the end. All right, so let's move on. It says White House and major cities under attack by rogue armed forces. Elevated radiation levels detected near multiple population centers. And that's exactly what happened to the boy. Because notice in the movie, I noticed something. They said this is happening to all of us. Yet he was the only one whose teeth were falling out. All right, and that has brother mentioned could be because I thought the same thing. I was like, man, but yeah, you had these people that got hokey poked, all right, when they turn themselves around, okay, and then you have the upbringing of those 5G towers. All right, if you remember that situation with the 5G towers, you understand what I'm talking about, okay? And so and then you have this ringing sound that kept going off, okay? And they showed you this in other movies, like what was it, the Golden, what was it called, Kingsman movie, okay, the one that Samuel Jackson was in, all right, where he sent off this signal, all right. This is the same thing. This is like the second or third time they showed you the same thing. All right. A signal in the movie causing people to whatever, all right, to happen to them. And this could be far-fetched. Once again, could be a reach. But, it's good to note and point out these particular things. All right. It says seek immediate shelter. All right. And nuclear missiles also cause, radiation fallout. So that's why I keep saying that these two-sided, because you have the crisis that they're going to pull off now because they got to find some way to issue their microchip. But the end of all things on this earth is going to be by nuclear missiles. So you can see these double-sided messages here. And it gives you these emergency alerts of what's going on in the outside world, outside this bunker in real time, so they can keep up, they can know what's going on outside, right? And you see everything was equipped for them. All right, they got their home, they got their exercise, they got their herbs, they got food, and obviously shelter. It's a bunker. They got entertainment, everything, okay, that they need down here in these bunkers. All right, and there's been people who boast about these. Now, this is what she hoped for, her own. This is why I wanted to point out what I said earlier, right? Why, in my personal opinion, I don't think this show, because yes, the scriptures tell us that my servant shall eat, and so on and so forth, and we understand that, we have faith in that the Lord is going to take care of us. But the Lord, the scriptures never said that we're going to be just sitting around comfortable. All right, we're going to be pilgrims on the earth. We're going to have to be on the move. Okay, talking about this in 2nd Ezra. All right, I believe that was the 16th chapter. All right, okay. So and also Acts 14:22 says, through much tribulation must you enter to the kingdom. All right. That's why me personally, I don't think that this bunker, this little bunker here has anything to do with the hopeful elect. All right. I believe in my own personal opinion, this is everything. It has everything to do with Esau saying that this is how we're going to do. We're going to sit back and watch and laugh and enjoy this as entertainment while all this turmoil is going on in this earth. And then we're going to rise back out and bring order out of chaos. OK. That's my own opinion, okay? And that's why I mentioned also, going down the hallway to the bunker, she went down the stairs or whatever. It was this red hallway, and then she got to the door with this red light or whatever. You know how Esau loves that red, these red shields, right? He's the red man of the earth. Oh yeah, and to close that thought off, because this is all she cared about. This is all she thought about. Herself, all right? And that's all these people care about, themselves, that 1%, okay? Now, this next thing I'm about to talk about, we're gonna have to get it in little portions here, because not everything you see here is important. But I want to point out something to you. All right, so I'm gonna let this scene play. We'll roll back. Please end it off. Okay, that was the end. All right, so yeah, because at the end she sat down, she put a movie in. Well, we'll get to it. So let's do this. Let's try to we'll slide back. All right. And I want to get to some of this that you see on the screen, all right? All right. Now, this first movie that I want to make mention of, because not all of them are important, all right? There's just some of them, I feel like, are kind of like subliminal, all right? And this first movie is Castaway, because now you remember there was the scene in the movie where, the plane was crashing, all right? Which they only show one plane, but in the case of an EMP attack, all planes will fall from the sky, okay? So check this out. It says, obsessively punctual FedEx executive Chuck Nolan is en route to an assignment in Malaysia when his plane crashes over the Pacific Ocean during a storm. The sole survivor of the flight, Chuck, washes ashore on a deserted island. When his efforts to sail away and contact help fail, Chuck learns how to survive on the island, where he remains for years, accompanied by only his handmade volleyball friend, Wilson. Will Chuck ever return to civilization and reunite with his loved ones? All right. Planes crashing. There may be survivors, because not everyone always dies in plane crashes. More than likely they do. But this is exactly what happened in the movie. All right. And they had this, a particular shelf of movies showed on the stand. Right. Because there were a ton of movies. All right. But they showed a particular portion of these movies. All right. So you have to pay attention to that. The things in this movie are not just for any reason, all right? And that's what they want you cast away. They want you, as it says in the scriptures, the second Ezra, right? A man shall desire to see another, or something like that, roughly paraphrasing, and shall desire to go into a city and all this kind of stuff, all right? And you're going to be cast away, all right? Like it was with old buddy Wilson, for those of you that seen the movie, all right? Well, it's just something I wanted to point out. Let's move on to the next one. Now, the next movie that you see on the shelf is called Cashern, right next to Castaway. It's called Cashern. It says, genetically modified human mutants threaten the future of the world, and the only hope for mankind rests on the shoulders of Cashern, a warrior who has been reincarnated. Is that not what we talk about dealing with, Yahushua? Okay. We know about reincarnation. He knows about reincarnation, and we know that the hopeful elect are waiting on the return of Yahushua. So I thought it was very ironic that they had this movie right here on the shelf. Let's read it again. It says, genetically modified human mutants, all right, they're feeding these GMO foods and things of that nature, feeding everybody with garbage, right? But anyway, it says, genetically modified human mutants threaten the future of the world, and the only hope for mankind rests on the shoulders of Cashern, a warrior who has been reincarnated. All right. So I thought it was very interesting, okay, to have that movie on the shelf. All right. Now, another movie that was on the shelf right here, it says Cake. Okay. It says, after having visions of a member of her support group who killed herself, a woman who also suffers with chronic pain seeks out the widower of the suicide. Now, the scriptures say that he will pour out his spirit upon all flesh. I believe that's in either Joel chapter 1 or Joel chapter 2, where it says he's going to pour out his spirit upon all flesh. And the young man shall dream dreams, and the old man shall see visions, all right? And handmaids or servants or something like that, shall prophesy, all right? And you see, there's been people all over this earth, people who are not even truly come to the realization that they're Israelites. They just, whatever they even if they're not Israelites, certain people have come out that say they've had, a dream about this or a vision about that. And that's happening right now in real time. So I thought that it was very interesting to have this particular movie on the show. It says, after having visions of a member of her support group who killed herself, all right, and in these latter days, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be trying to self-check out, all right, because they're not going to be able to take it. Especially those women who thought they were so strong. Some of those self-checkout victims are going to be women, all right? It says, and the majority are probably going to be Edomites, because Edomites are good for self-checking out, all right? It says, a member of a support group who killed herself, a woman who also suffers with chronic pain, seeks out the widower of the suicide. All right. This is very small, but I thought it was, kind of crazy that one was in there. All right. So let's continue. All right, now, this one isn't super important either, but all right. Once again, found interesting. All right. It's called Bye Bye Birdie. All right. And check out the first part of this plot, because we don't need to read all of it. It says, in 1958, popular rock and roll star Conrad Birdie receives an Army draft notice, right? An Army draft notice, devastating his teenage fans nationwide. All right, because hey, these celebrities aren't they're not exempt either. All right, because when things go down, all right, everyone's going to be just seen as regular and normal. Okay, everybody's going to be writing that same old lot. Okay, whether you're a celebrity or not. All right, maybe if you have a super high status, maybe you'd be exempt. But me personally, I don't think anyone's exempt. If they're really truly needed, all right, they would send celebrities to war as well. Because America, we've already talked about this before. America has a problem with fulfilling their ranks. Okay, they have men, they have women, and they have homos in their army. They have trouble fulfilling their ranks. And then you have this the young generation, Gen Z, right, saying that we don't want to go to war. We're not going to war. Most of them are gay anyways. Okay, and we've seen this. Okay. So I thought this was interesting. It says, in 1958, popular rock and roll star Conrad Birdie receives an Army draft notice, devastating his teenage fans nationwide. Despite his doctorate in biochemistry, unsuccessful songwriter Albert Peterson schemes with a secretary and long-suffering girlfriend, Rosie DeLeon, to have Conrad sing a song Albert will write. All right. And the rest of that plot we really don't need. All right. It's not very important. All right. But it's just, I wanted to bring out that about the Army draft thing. Okay. And this was dealing with a celebrity who got drafted to the Army. All right. No one's going to be special. And there was a scene where Mahershala Ali was saying that, right? The best that anyone, even no matter how much, not saying he said exactly like this, but roughly paraphrasing, how much money you have or whatever, that status is, the best you can hope for is a heads up. All right. So celebrities aren't exempt from the chaos either. All right. The best that they can hope for is a heads up, and that's what they get it. All right. All right. Now, if you're of the age, then you all remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because I most definitely remember that TV show as well. All right. This is probably the least important one. But the thing is, all right, when it comes to Buffy, we talked about this. All right. Now I'm not saying any of this lines up with real life, because, it was about obviously vampires, and she was slaying vampires, and, but the scriptures talk about how there be spirits created for vengeance, and right, newly created spirits, and, teeth of wild beasts and all these things. OK, so it's kind of like a hint to, the chaotic state that this place is going to be in. If you notice, there are several box sets of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's like 4 or 5 different, probably more than that, of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? All this demonic type, I don't know, what word I'm looking for, but you get the point, man, because that's what basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer was about, killing vampires or whatever, all right? And it had this whole, kind of demonic feel to it. And so it's just, I thought it very interesting that it had so many, because I don't think it was more box sets of anything else. As a matter of fact, I believe that was the only one that had multiple box sets, all right? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And it almost looked like as if they had all the box sets. I don't think they skipped any one. Of course, we can't see all the titles or know for sure, but it's just, if you look, you'll see how many Buffy the Vampire Slayer box sets there were, all right? So, I just thought it crazy, the point and pull that out. All right, now this one is probably the most surprising to me to see this one in the set. It's Bruce Almighty. Everybody knows about Bruce Almighty, all right? And so check out the plot. It says Bruce Nolan's career in TV has been stalled for a while, and when he's passed over for a coveted anchorman position, he loses it, complaining that God is treating him poorly. Soon after, God, who's played by Morgan Freeman, actually contacts Bruce and offers him all of his powers if he thinks he can do a better job. Bruce accepts and goes on a spree, using his newfound abilities for selfish, personal use until he realizes that the prayers of the world are going unanswered. All right, and this is a really a very on a very spiritual level, and it's two-sided, right? Because you have the left-hand side, the wicked, okay, and they've utilized their whole entire rulership to do just that, wickedness, because they were created to be the wicked. All right, but then on the other end, okay, of the spectrum, you have the Israelites who, through the scriptures, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemashah, which we really it deals more so with the 144,000, but we have faith, and we believe that there are going to be men who are going to receive spiritual powers, man. All right, so it's not ironic that they had this movie in here, okay, in this little collection of DVDs that they actually showed on the show, because they zoom out and show them all, but there's a certain portion of movies that they showed up close. All right, and Bruce Almighty happens to be one of those that were in this particular set. All right. And so, we do believe that there's going to be men who are going to receive spiritual powers, and Lord willing, we'll have that number, okay, of that whole full leg remnant, all right, or what more, the 144,000, which are all men, okay, but you always have a right hand side to things, and you have a left hand side to things, okay. So I thought it was crazy that they have Bruce Almighty up in that set. Now, there's a couple other movies that are probably the least important, but it's also funny that they have them in the way that they have them, all right, stacked up. So one of those movies is Brothers, right? Because we're also talking about the brotherhood. And now the movie itself has nothing to do with what I'm saying, but it's just the title. It has Brothers up there. And then it has Brooklyn's Finest, okay? So we talk about, watching out for these, these agents who are watching us at camp and things of that nature, which that's kind of not exactly, going into that particular movie, but, it's just, once again, just mention the titles. You have Brothers, you have Brooklyn Finest, and then you have all these box sets of Bring It On. Bring what on? All right. Bring on, because the brothers are always talking about it. We're waiting. All right. We know everything's controlled by the Lord, but we know brothers are saying that from time to time. What you waiting on, E? Bring on whatever you have. Okay. So I thought that was very ironic. Now, once again, it could be very far-fetched. Once again, just saying these are just my thoughts. Just point some things out. Just take it with a grain of salt, okay? But then below right there, those movies, Brothers, right? Bruce Almighty, Brothers, Brooklyn Finest, Bring It On. Then you have Bridesmaids, all right? And we talk about that all the time. One of the scriptures that comes out, right? Jeremiah 3:14 talks about how you are married unto, speaking of the Israelites, married unto the Lord, which is a spiritual thing, okay? But I'm married unto you, all right? And we're waiting for what? The return of the bridegroom, okay? We're the bride, and we're waiting for the bridegroom, which is Yahweh to return, okay? So I thought that was interesting. And then there's one more. As a matter of fact, we'll pull it up here. All right, so the last movie on that particular shelf is called Breach. All right, and this is Breach. It says Eric O'Neill, a low-level surveillance expert with the FBI, believes he is accomplishing his dream of becoming a full-fledged agent with his unexpected promotion and assignment to work with renowned agent, Robert Hansen. However, he soon learns the reason for his promotion is to gain Hansen's trust and find proof that he is a traitor to the country. All right. And that's just more of that, infiltration activity going on. OK, so I thought it was also interesting to point that movie out. Once again, I would say take these things I'm pointing out with the grain of salt. It's just things that, I saw and I'm just going to point out. All right. Take it with a grain of salt or look into it yourself if you like. OK, so and then, because after this, it zooms out. OK. From the whole entire bookshelf or movie shelf or whatever, however you want to call it, okay? And it shows all the DVDs, but you can't really kind of see them. But these particular set, they show these particular set. And now this whole movie she talks about, and that's another selfish thing. She was always talking about, she's worried about the movie, her TV series, right? And then she also said at one point that she cares for them. All right, talking about these people on the West Wing television. So she cares for them, a fake world, but that's how he wants you into this reality world, caring more for the virtual reality world than the real life world. Okay, caring more for something that's fake than something or someone that's real. Okay, she's talking about she cares for them or whatever, and the whole movie she talks about watching West Wing, and then at the very end, she ends up popping in the DVD of Friends. All right, so let's close this off. So you see, it's almost like she got her wish, right? She just wanted entertainment, okay? And that's an old display. I know because I can hear the sound of it. I remember exactly how they sound. That's very old right there. And you notice how they went. She popped in the Friends DVD. All right, Friends, because the scriptures talk about how they're going to be people who are going to be against one another. All right, civil war, class wars, race wars. All right, best friends are going to be against one another. Households are going to be against one another. So it's not ironic that they popped in the Friends, right? Friends DVD. And throughout the movie, they showed you that even friends are not going to be able to trust each other. All right. With the Jake, he was acting like an idiot going because he knew the guy. All right. That they went to for help with the other dude. Because the son was sick. They went to him for help because the black guy knew him. But he was like, hey, ain't no friends here anymore. Right. Because I can't trust anybody. You don't see what's going on in the world. And that's exactly what they want, this chaos, man. But it's not because they want it. It's because it's written in the scriptures, okay? That everyone's going to be against one another, all right? The love of many shall wax cold, all right? They're going to be uprising against the government. It's going to be sedition among men, so on and so forth, okay? So it's not ironic that they popped in Friends, all right, DVD, and then they went to the last one. And the last one can have multiple meanings. We really don't know, all right? Could be the last crisis before they try to put the push forward the MOTB, or it could be the last one could mean anything. All right, it could mean the last rulership, because this is the last rulership on this earth before the kingdom of heaven is established, and that kingdom of heaven is going to be forever. All right, Lord Yahweh's rulership. So the last one could have multiple meanings. All right, so you can it's kind of like you leave it up to your own interpretation on that one. All right. Now I didn't get it, but if you because I've listened to some of those words, man. Even the words, even the song that they chose at the end is crazy because it plays the words on the screen. So for those of you who've seen the movie, or maybe you haven't, if you have seen the movie, go back and just watch the words at the end of the movie that play. All right, even that was strategically chosen, right? At least in my opinion, it was, because if you listen to some of the things that were being said in the song, but I didn't get the song, but it's okay. All right. So at the end of the day, it really could have is a two-sided meaning, right? Because it could talk about the end destruction, dealing with the nuclear missiles or whatever, and them hiding in the bunker. But and because it's ironic that they pull the bunkers up of all things. But at the same time, you have to think about it. When Jacob's trouble is going on, they're not going to want to just be sitting in their houses. Yeah, they may have protection, but you never know. They may not be able to fully protect themselves. So they during Jacob's trouble, they could go ahead and run into their bunkers, all right, and watch how things unfold. So that way the MOT could get implemented, and then they can run back out of their bunker. And we spoke about this, all right, because I talked about this before, all right. Dealing with the MOTB, you take this device and it gives them full autonomy over your life, and they're going to be able to do what? Control you from a remote location, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing, sitting somewhere in peace and in safety, controlling the whole entire world from a remote location. All right. So they show you these things on smaller levels. But once again, you have to take these things with a grain of salt. But, just try to see the spiritual side to things. Okay, so it's just my thoughts. Not saying I'm right about anything. I'm just just analyzing. Because you can go on for a whole week just analyzing certain scenes in this movie. All right, but I just want to touch on the very ending of this movie. All right, and because there's other parts in the movies I could speak about some of those parts. No, it is what it is, man. I just, you can't, hey, man, you can't really, we'll put it like this for those that are in the know, you understand. I'll say this one word for you, deja vu. So I will leave it at that, all right? And, we'll end it right here. Lord willing, you will edify. Till next time, I'm going to say shalom.